It's a good way to take weight out, and a lot of people have been talking about thinning scissors. You could attack that with the thinning scissors. See that heavy line there? Or we can split it in half, take some hair out of there, cut out a little bit shorter behind, and it's going to make it lighter. As you all know, this is my favourite bit of the whole haircut, because it starts looking tidy once you start putting lines in. Okay, welcome to the live demonstration tonight. I'm going to be doing a clipper cut on the sides, trimmer on top, really basic haircut, but there's a few considerations in this haircut that we need to think about. The first consideration is that my client's head is kind of flat up to here, and there isn't like a big protrusion for the occipital bone, so I'm going to build that out a little bit with the hair. Like if I run my finger down there, there's a little bone there. You can always feel it at the bottom of the occipital bone where it sticks out the most, and that's going to be the point that I glide off the head with the number 3. So I'm going to go up to there, glide off, and then I'll taper in. But at the same time, there's a little bit of width here on the sides. So I'm going to want to bring that in a little bit as well. So I'll come to that, but let's start at the back. It's a good place to start. So the clipper's going to go in, and I'm going to glide off just quite low here, and be careful to protect this hair here. Teeth in right at the very nape of the neck, and then I'm going to glide out from there. So teeth in, right at the nape of the neck, glide out, right there. And I don't want to go any higher than that. I think that's high enough for the clipper. So I'll work my way around this side. Again, bearing in mind how high I went with my first clipper stroke, I don't want to go any higher as I work my way around. We'll deal with the sides separately. I'm going to come up to about here, I think, so that we don't obliterate this weight yet on the side. You can see how slow I'm going. I'm not rushing with the clipper, firing the clipper through the hair. It's nice and slow. Teeth in right at the nape of the neck, even pressure on the clipper, and just glide up and off. Off. And you can actually see, I mean, I could actually say we're starting to form a haircut already there, because it's starting to take the shape and the messiness is starting to tidy up. So remember, we've got this weight here. I'm going to comb that down so we can take a look at it. Comb the hair from the top out of the way. That recession point there, that's the point where you would split the hair. And you'll get that on everybody. There's always a point where you have side hair and the top hair, and you can split right about there. And look at this weight here. I've got this real weight of long hair. I can pass right through that with the 3, I think. That's safe to do. Very easy. This is the most basic, this. Just passing straight through with the clipper. Fundamental skill. Really, really important if you're going to have a career as a barber, that you grasp that. So in at the base of the hairline, glide up off. This ridge here, this bone is very important. It's the bone that we tend to glide off, and you would choose a point maybe below it or marginally above it, but normally it's bang on that bone that you would leave the head with the clipper for most generic clipper cuts. I think what I'll do this time is I'm going to show you this angle from the back, the angle that I'm going passing through the this weight line, this ridge here, so that you can see it again from this angle. So imagine just the comb, the straight comb, and I'm going much higher here on the sides than I did just at that occipital bone. Right. So, and watch the angle here, straight up, even pressure, and just leave the head there. Up and away. if I go straight up and the hair's standing out, it means that I have a really straight line on the side of the head. So whereas we had this weight before, there was weight there, now it's gone, it's just a straight up line. And when I come to scissor cut that, I know I don't need to deal with the weight here. I'm glad that we didn't go too high here. I'm happy with that. I think we've got a nice shape forming. So remember that long lever on the T-Pod clipper? It's quite long, so that's a good bit of range to work with. So let's just go, I think I'll go just the full extension. I'm not going to go right down to 0 here, just the fully extended lever. And we're leaving just a little line there. That's all right. So when you look at this here, you've got, now we have from here to here, it's a very short distance there to there, and that's what we have to blend into. We need to get from a half all the way to a 3, which is here, in a short space. So the number 1 guard, the 3mm, I'll just work up with that. I'm gonna touch that line and then tilt the clipper out. Okay, and now I'll just go straight to the half position, that's 4.5mm. We'll go up a little bit higher, just tilt the clipper out again. I'm almost at my 3 there, I'm almost at the height I went with the 3, and I'm only on 1.5, but I think this is okay. It's going okay so far. We're getting there. I'm going to have to go back a step because when I went from the 1 to the 1.5, I noticed right away that there was a little bit of a line formed. You can see it right there. I'm not sure if it's visible on camera, but there's a little bit of a line. So we've got the 1 and the 1.5. So I'll go in between, go back 2 notches on the clipper. I'm going to go back another notch because that's not quite taking that out, that line. So I want to hear it cut something. Right, let's just go right back down to the 1 again. That's better. And I'm going to pick away at the corner here. I'll give it a brush so that I can see. It's a good idea to keep that brush handy so that you can see and clean the clipper off as well. Pick away here. Okay, happier. This side over here, actually, the other side is, I didn't get that line over here so much. It seems to be quite good. So I'm going to switch to a number 2 finally. And we'll see if we can just finally get the taper complete before we move on to the sides. So number 2 on, that's a 6mm. We'll just touch that line just where the 3 was. That's it, it's only just cutting. So I move in, it gets to the line, and I'm not really cutting, I start bending the clipper out at that point. Touches the line, just kind of bend it away from the hair at that point. So now we've got the sides to tackle, but I think what I'm going to do with the sides, rather than go in with different clipper guards, let's just trim or overcomb this section. And the reason I say that is because this is a tight space here we've got, and I don't think I want to go in with a range of guards. I'm just going to put the comb in now. The hook of the comb is going to be touching the head, and I'm going to bend the comb away from the head, not too much. Okay, initially quite close there. Okay, but the idea is that as you move up the comb is moving further away from the head. Right, so the whole comb is not flat to the head. We bend it out like this. Make a little taper. And in this area here, I'm going to curve that out. I'll form a little bit of definition there. Okay, and just here, let's form some definition around the ear. I'll try and make it more curved. Use the corner of the trimmer. And the same at the back of the ear. I'm going to use the corner of the trimmer again. This line here, what line do you pick? Where do you make your line? I think if you follow the curve round, at some point on the curve you want to take a line down to the nape of the neck. Personally, I think we can make a line right about there. Let's see. I think that's okay. Brush this off. Okay, and there's neck hair here. We can just get rid of that completely. All right, so got a nice taper going on the side and at the back there as well. I'll just start my taper. I'll work my way around towards the front from this side. So, a straight line. As you all know, this is my favourite bit of the whole haircut because it starts looking tidy once you start putting lines in. It starts turning into something. Okay, and I'm going to pull. Look at this long hair here. I want to pull that down. If I pull that down and let go of the ear, I can use the casing of the trimmer to push the ear out of the way as I move around. So I don't need to hold it with my finger. I can just use the casing. That's fine. Okay. So you can see like the delicate work, the difference between just this area, how it really starts to turn into something really nice, only covering a really small area of the haircut. When you look at this, there's the potential to form quite a solid arch there. And we've got to refine just by the ear there as well. So let's do it. Let's just do it. I'll go kind of almost like straight in, and I'm going to start curving as soon as I go in with this. I'll put one finger on the head just so that I can balance my clipper. Gives me a little bit more stability. Very heavy there, so let's just trim it over comb. Back in with a hook just at the base of the sideburn. Bend the comb out and trim it over comb. We've got a little taper there, formed a nice arch, taper at the back, but we still have to tie in the top, and there's a bit of weight on this ridge here as well. So let's get some water on this. There's different ways you can approach cutting the top. You can go in different directions on top. You could take like a guideline through the middle. You could cut from the front towards the back. You could cut from the back towards the front. I think for this haircut, because we've got this weight here that I'm putting quite a fair bit of importance on, I think I'm going to have a guideline that goes kind of from here all the way over to about the front here, so that I can see the haircut all the way through, how it's all going to sit. Now, you don't have to do a guideline, but this is just to, if you're confident with how you're cutting, a guideline's not essential, but it's just to give you a guide. If you want one, it's there. So I'm going to start right in the middle here. So we've got this separation here. And I'm just going to take about that off. That'll do just now. What's going to be really key for you when you're cutting hair is that you don't take off what you don't need to take off. Only take off what you have to. And think about what you have to leave behind. How much hair do you need left to create the style that you want to create? If you take too much, that's it. You can't put it back on. And that's the wrong side of the mistake. If the mistake's that you didn't take enough, that can be fixed because you can always take more. But we can't glue it back on, so just be careful. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend it a little bit longer on the front. So with this guideline, I'm going to bend my fingers back a little bit as I get towards this front section. And I don't know if anyone watched the podcast with Connor Evans last night. That was really good as well. It's interesting speaking to Connor. He's come from a hairdressing background, but he preferred short haircuts and he went into barbering. So an interesting route that a lot of barbers started that way. Even me. I didn't go into a salon. I studied hairdressing at college because barbering wasn't actually a subject at the time. I mean, it was a long time ago. So that was the route in. But as it happened, much like Connor, I liked cutting short hair. That was preferable to me. I didn't enjoy the long process of cutting long hair. I don't know why. Although I would like to know it now. I wish I'd stuck it out and learned it because it is interesting to me. But anyway, so if I comb all this through, right, then we have I know that I'll be able to find the guideline all the way through this, the little short strip that I cut. So when I pick this up, I should be able to find the little short area. Sure enough, there's a little short area in the middle. Of course, when I turn my hands like that, it changes the shape, but there is a little short area right in the middle here, and I'm going to cut down to that, and I'll work my way forwards. So hook of the comb, draw that across. You can keep your fingers on it. That's one way to pick it up. Make sure your section's nice and clean, like you've got the hair well gripped. Cut across. And then I'm going to comb that through. Hook of the comb again. Follow it across with the claw technique. Pick up my section. Short hair. And again. So anyone that's been in the classroom, you should, if you've watched the content in the classroom, you should already know this, but this is so fundamental. You'll be doing this over and over. This is a really common technique. But one of the things you're going to want to know is how do you modify that technique, and it through either over direction or under direction. So for instance, if you want to make it slightly shorter on the fringe as you get towards the front, you would start bringing your fingers forwards as you pick up your sections. Or if you want it longer, you would pull your fingers back a little bit. So I'm going to keep a consistent length. I'm going to follow my guideline. But I will modify the fringe afterwards, and I'm going to show you some really cool techniques for the fringe. A good way to cut the fringe without tension. Probably one of the hardest skills that you could learn. It's basically freehand cutting, and we're going to do that in this haircut. So get into the front and pull this back again. So this is the easy stuff right now, okay? So I'm taking the weight off the fringe there. All right, comb that forward. All right, so step to the side, we'll draw a section, and all I want to do is match it up to that middle short length. So happy with that. Now I'm going to speed it up a little bit because I'm going to repeat the same process all the way to the front. So draw the comb. Again, draw the comb across. If you don't have a comb with a hook like that, get one. Don't think about getting one, just get one. Because what happens is they can gather more hair. You can get more hair into that little hook section, in the little hook bit. So useful. I don't think I could cut hair without a comb that has a hook now. I did for years, but once you start using a comb that has a hook, you don't look back. So similar process, we'll pull this over. We don't need the hook here because what you can do is you can place the comb like on one of these lines that go down and just pick the hair up, like flip it up and then catch it like that and then smooth it out. It's easier from this side because of the way it lies. If you're standing at the back of the head on this side, you have to comb across, but because I'm right-handed, well, I'm actually left-handed, but I'm using it right-handed, I can just go in and collect like so. So I'm just going to collect with the comb here. And I like, for some reason on this side, I like to collect with the direction of the flow of the hair, which is flowing that way. So I'll collect the hair like that. And I do have to say, I do enjoy cutting human hair, because cutting the mannequin head last week, although the mannequins let you do whatever you want to them, it's much more natural cutting real hair. So we'll take the corners off here. Okay, I've gone through the middle and I've done either side. So let's pick up, take these corners off. Okay, I don't want to go any further. That's the fringe there, so we'll leave that. Now I'm just going to go back a little bit. So I'm just going to scissor over comb that little area there, just to take any rough little bits. So we're looking for just dust to come off. Because we took vertical sections, in between them there's going to be like a little rough area, so just take that down a little bit. Okay, in here, very light. It's a very light process, this. So with a crown, there's two ways you could do this. You could pick up and you could pull the hair out and trim like that. Okay, so we have longer hair as you move up. You can see, like if you were to pick it up with the comb, from the short area. Let's see if I can get it all in the comb. From the short area, it's building up into longer hair around this area. Or you can go in scissor over comb and work your way down like this as well, working your way down to a shorter point, which is round about where our number 3 was. I like the freehand method, I gotta be honest. I prefer to cut my way down freehand. So the comb's going in. There's weight right about here, I think. This is the weight. I want it to lie around about here without being too long. I will come back and check this area just to make sure there's nothing that's out of place and should be cut. But scissor over comb, I think I prefer. There's not so much hair and so much weight that we can't do that. Keep working here. Right, and again, I'm going to take the corner off. I'll let you stay at that angle with the camera, and I'm just going to work my way from the back to the front, and I'm looking for the hair that's hanging out the side. So we're not actually going into the length at the top. We're only dealing with anything that's overhanging or going to overhang. It might not necessarily overhang, it might go forward, but you know, if it gets windy, it would look like a messy haircut if it gets blown about, if there's like strands hanging over. Okay, let's take a look at this crown again now. I said I wasn't going to pick it up, but I'm going to check it over. We'll check over the crown. There may be some long hair that needs to come off. Very long in the middle there, so I'll just take that down. This is the double check. Me taking length from here doesn't affect the length down there because there's enough hair. There's all this hair down here already, so it's just the hair right in the middle I really want to look at to make sure that there's no extra long areas. See that short hair there? So I'm going to just go back a little bit as if I was taking my guideline back from the front again, from the middle of the head over at this side. Okay, right, I'm going to show you the front. I was talking about a difficult technique at the front. So what I want to do is I really want the fringe, I'm just going to take like about 1 centimetre off the fringe, but I'm going to cut it scissor over comb. So pick up the hair with the scissor, comb underneath, and I'm looking for a straight line, okay? And I'm going to keep working my way towards the front, taking sections, right? So if I take that, I haven't affected the length at the front at all yet. Okay, even if I take some more, right? Okay, so we still have the length at the front. So the sections behind the fringe, as I take them and shorten them, it's going to take weight out of the fringe without taking the length, unless I take a little bit of length off the final section at the front. So that's the way I like to do is take the weight first, okay? Take the weight away, taking a little bit away. And by doing this, you can make it really light on the front if you want. Just keep picking small amounts. It's getting like string at the front there. So I'll take the whole lot. The comb is straight. And because the comb's straight, the fringe will be straight. So again, we'll do the same here. Scissor in, pick up some more, work forward. There's like little guidelines you want to look for from your last section. I'm going to take that little area off there. Look at this weight here. Let's scissor over comb that actually, because I was talking about taking weight out. So there's weight here, it comes from behind that. I'm going to pick up and remove, and pick up and remove more weight, but leave that there, okay, so that I don't lose my shape. It's a good way to take weight out, and a lot of people have been talking about thinning scissors. You could attack that with the thinning scissors. See that heavy line there? Or we can split it in half, take some hair out of there, cut out a little bit shorter behind, and it's going to make it lighter. So this is layering to remove weight. And you can keep picking away just at little areas. There we go, tapered at the side, shaped round there. Nice taper at the back. So this was with a clipper, it's easier, there's a broader canvas. I used a little trimmer on the sides because it's a smaller canvas. Tried to keep this shape, maintain the shape above the crown to keep more of a curve there, and the same on the other side. And of course we finished the fringe, turn you right round Ryan, finished the fringe just with the scissor over comb without tension, no tension at all, and rested it on the comb. I've swept that to the side and I'm quite happy with the overall look of that. I think that's perfect. We've got a good shape the whole way around. It's sitting quite nicely. Really easy haircut. It seems the skill is in the tapering. That's the hard part. You know, if someone asks you for a number 3 on the sides, that's much easier. Once you taper it, it's extra work. So, and you have to be more careful, as you see. So tapering is more of a skill. And then we need to think about how we get up into the longer hair on top. How do you want to build it up? Think a lot about where the bones of the head are. That's really important. So that's that. I hope you enjoyed that video and you learned a lot from it. If you are a learner barber or you're trying to get better at men's hair, then consider joining this channel as a member where you'll get access to a range of masterclass videos that I've made and I house in the member section. So if you want to level up your barber game quickly, join the channel as a member and gain access to those masterclasses. I can't wait to see you over there. Thank you for watching.